The moment the ball left the bat, the stadium forgot how to breathe. It wasn't just a hit, it was a missile, a blur of white fire screaming straight back toward the mound. For a split second, time slowed, as if refusing to witness what might happen next. Everyone knew that comebackers like this change careers, and sometimes end them. But on that mound stood Yoshinobu Yamamoto. A man built from discipline, pressure, and the kind of fire that only legends carry behind their eyes. He didn't flinch. He didn't blink. He simply moved, faster than instinct, faster than logic, faster than fear. The ball rocketed back toward him, twisting with the full force of a professional swing, a shot meant only to survive, not to be caught. The crowd gasped as it closed the distance in a blink. And then it happened. That impossible moment. Yamamoto's glove snapped forward like a lightning strike, so fast that even the cameras struggled to follow it. A single sharp pop echoed across the field as leather swallowed danger. The stadium erupted. Not into cheers, not yet. First came disbelief. Fans rose from their seats, hands over their mouths, eyes wide, trying to understand what they just saw. Even the batter froze, mouth half open, bat still in his hands, staring at Yamamoto like he had just witnessed a miracle. Yamamoto looked down into his glove, almost checking to confirm reality hadn't tricked him. He nodded once, quietly, like accepting something only he expected from himself. And then, the roar. A wave of sound so loud the dirt on the infield vibrated. It wasn't cheering, it was gratitude, awe, and shock fused together. The catcher ran to him first, laughing in disbelief, smacking Yamamoto's back as if to confirm that he too was still alive. The infielders closed in next, shaking their heads, grinning like kids who just saw a superhero save the world. But Yamamoto didn't show off. He didn't pump his fist. He didn't scream or celebrate. He simply breathed, deep, controlled, calm, like a man who knew exactly what he was capable of, even when nobody else did. The batter walked past him and muttered something under his breath, something respectful, something honest. Because how do you react when your best shot gets swallowed by a moment of pure genius? The replay played on the screen above the field, in slow motion, frame by frame, and each time the crowd reacted differently. First with gasps, then with applause, then with that thunderous roar again. From every angle, the play looked even more impossible. The ball was inches from his face, real danger, not the theatrical kind. Yet Yamamoto's glove moved with precision that didn't belong to humans but to legends. In dugouts on both sides, players exchanged looks. No trash talk now, just respect. The commentators struggled for words. They replayed the sound, that clean, decisive pop, over and over, calling it a once-in-a-season moment, maybe even once-in-a-career. But deep down, fans knew something else. For Yamamoto, this wasn't luck. This was mastery. A kind of mastery that comes from thousands of hours alone, listening to nothing but his heartbeat and the sound of baseballs smashing into a glove. A kind of mastery born from failure, pressure, and expectation. And as the game resumed, Yamamoto stood alone again on the mound, the sun catching the edges of his uniform, his shadow stretching across the dirt like a quiet reminder that greatness often looks ordinary until the world sees it up close. The next pitch he threw. A strike. Perfectly placed. As if to say, I'm not shaken. I'm not done. The crowd rose again, this time in pure admiration. It wasn't about the catch anymore, it was about the man who made it. Parents nudged their kids, whispering, watch him. This is what greatness looks like. Old fans smiled knowingly, recognizing that they had just witnessed something they would talk about for years. Even the umpire seemed slower to call the next pitch, as if still recovering from the shock that hung in the air. The stadium didn't return to normal energy, it stayed suspended, electric, pulsing with the memory of what had just happened. And Yamamoto. He kept pitching. Steady. Focused. Unbothered. Because legends don't create moments to celebrate. They create moments to remind everyone why they're different. The inning ended with Yamamoto walking off the mound to a standing ovation. Not because his team was winning. Not because he struck out the side. But because he faced danger and answered it with brilliance. The fans knew they had witnessed a highlight that would live forever, replayed in broadcasts, shared on social media, remembered in conversations that begin with, "Do you remember that one play?" As he disappeared into the dugout, he didn't look up. He didn't soak in the applause. He just kept walking, the same quiet warrior he had been when the game began. Because for Yamamoto, the work never stops. The pressure never ends. And the next challenge is always waiting. But for a few unforgettable seconds, the world paused to watch a man defy danger, defy instincts, and defy the limits of reaction and courage. And when the ball slammed into his glove, it wasn't just a catch. It was a statement, a reminder that in sports, in life, in every moment of fear or uncertainty, there are people who step forward instead of stepping back. People like Yoshinobu Yamamoto. And that's why, today, an entire stadium stood not just to cheer a play, but to honor the man who made the impossible look easy.